Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to Karma Squad Astrology, and this is my first video, so let's just see where it goes. It's a bit of astro trap really. A friend of mine mentioned the other day about Pluto going into Aquarius could be the death of the internet and the World Wide Web will become obsolete. Imagine that, the death of the internet. So of course that's never going to happen unless we were to have a war with substances such as uranium and plutonium. Boom. So here, with that in mind, we have a slight insight into 2023, Uranus in Taurus, square Pluto in Aquarius. So let's take a brief look at Uranus in Taurus, which arrived today at 3:15, and I chose the ephemeris wisely. So most of you know that Uranus will shake up situations in our charts that we've allowed to become stagnant or force a change because it was what we subconsciously desire. So it will affect the house in which it transits and any planet's aspect to that, also the rulers. But I don't want to go too deep into the typical astrological chat, remembering when I first studied astrology how I was getting my head around things. So basically this is just a slight discussion on what we value, Taurus, and the internet, Uranus, the history of things to come, Pluto, Aquarius, death and or transformation, but more than likely, where is my money, the crypto coin. So moving on from that, it's interesting too that Saturn will have visited Aquarius beforehand and leave just before Pluto's arrival on the same month. So the time to take control of how the ever-growing issues with the web need to take responsibility, for the new age era that is due upon us. Are we in line with our hopes, dreams and aspirations? Uranus ruling the 11th house, of course. We can feel we belong to a society or group now, even if we're isolated in the comfort of our own home. So versus the value of digital friendship and who really are just self-created avatars. That's what we basically do. In a sense, we can be who we want, so that patterns on digital experience withhold the true sense of self. It doesn't quite hit the feeling level to a real degree. Being a typical Scorpio, I would say that. I'm open to comments. And becomes a merging of personal identity versus collective consciousness. So considering that machines already know what you're up to, and if anyone's viewed the articles on smart TV, which I found absolutely fascinating, watching you without knowing, and how people all over the world, if they're computer savvy, can watch you all day, are then the machines becoming self-aware? I mean, Uranus is self-awareness and technology, right? So we are feeding into the machine now with fingerprint sensors, face ID, voice recognition. This could be the decade of the cybernetic stem-cell, robots with skin. So where does the cybernet stop at humanness? Pluto will ask, how does the freedom of the internet actually control our lives? What real substance does it give to our soul? Yeah, it is great that souls connect on an energy level, and so Uranus and Pluto do both connect on an energy level. And again, there is a similarity in that Pluto won't be manipulated by bullshit and Uranus demands truth. So we certainly are transforming society's brotherhood of groups, but to what expense really? I mean, well, first thought, Bitcoin, crypto coin, online banking, the bull rules stock markets, gold bullion, material wealth, inner self value, through what it acquires and possesses. So ruled by Venus, good food and security. We could even say how many Facebook pitch, Snapchats, Instagrams through the web make us feel good. Is that really where our value lies? The bull identifies and values itself with its possessions, but now it's being asked to truly become an individual in its own right, to rebel even against itself perhaps, in breaking out with new values. And what are they? Well, that is personal to your chart, but on a collective, how are we valued as an individual in society versus internet dating to get you placed in the candlelit restaurants away from your phone and see who you really are. Just get my notes up here because it's my first one, remember. So Pluto will want to transform and rebuild, shedding the hidden, i.e. the dark web, sexual abuse online, bullying, stalking, and of course fraud and hackers. Whatever's hidden by the web that controls or abuses its power will have to be purged. For a society to take ownership of advancement from a history and karma, and to allow Uranus the freedom of will to take us to the future, I am sure the power lines of society, in a literal sense, whether that's the earth or power lines could be interference on your mind connections. We'll have many cabling issues, combustions, connection freezes. What then will happen, as Uranus is in the sign of nature? More tsunamis from offshore wind turbines, mudslides and volcanoes, as both planets demand that we respect technology and how we abuse energy within nature, Mother Nature, and of course our own nature. We already are paying a high price for energy and looking for new ways to advance technology for quicker, easier products. The bull will want to grind that down to technology we can touch, taste, smell, and the age of the robot is upon us. The power grids are overflowing, battery storage, hydropower are upon us. We're beginning to live the life of the storybook of War of the Worlds. Orson Welles? Is it Orson Welles? I'm from Essex. I'm not really. Anyway. War of the Planets, the robots take over, Terminator, the death of the machine. Perhaps if we listen to the bull inside the technology, we can relearn the value of human life and real interaction. So as Pluto and Saturn at the moment are both now in Capricorn, preparing for the journey to Aquarius, they will be trialing Uranus in Taurus at some point. Here we've got all three top dogs. We'll be looking at respecting our own authority through changed values, looking at respecting society's future, planting the seeds on how we treat our bodies, new ways of farming and cultivating food. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised with this if we had new landing towers on tops of mountains for enemy defence. After all, the technology war is on its way. It might be a while off yet. That'll come quite quick though. But both gods of karma, Saturn and Pluto, are asking plan wisely. Respect our motherlands and the traditions we came from. Plant the seeds to our generation now to allow the traditions to be brought up to date, to fit in with the times by turning our consciousness, Uranus, into an awareness we can value, Taurus. Taurus is a builder, a hands-on and just do it, bringing uranium insights into form. With Pluto's brother Mars springing into action in Aquarius tomorrow, May the 16th, 2018, I have no doubt we will get a taste of the longer lasting effects to come when Pluto finally arrives in Aquarius to square that Uranus in Taurus. This is the battle of the free will and impulse to drive technology forward against Taurus, demanding we work slowly with the new arrival. Don't push a bull, and certainly don't ask for a fight with Mars. What news comes tomorrow of this and the nuclear talks at the moment? This all sounds rather heavy and taking away the fact of how the bull grounds and gives stability, how Mars pushes us to create and have courage to do so, how Uranus gives us the gift of liberation and belonging through being an independent part of the collective whole, but also where Saturn and Pluto ask our leaders to take time out and think of society's viewpoint, value us on a collective, and listen to what we value. We don't value food rationing. That was the last war with Uranus in Taurus. So if we use the square wisely, we can take technology to another level, especially in bionics for limbs, etc. So past the gates of industry and revolution to full protection of individuality. Pluto will make sure of that. In the words of the Terminator, hasta la vista, baby.